Hey guys, it's me, it's Bestio, and today we'll be looking at my AFL Round 17 predictions. Let's go through each match and we'll go through each of our predictions. So we have the first match, Richmond vs Sydney, tomorrow at 7:20, which is at the MCG. Now, generally, I would have gone Richmond hands down any day of the week, but I'm still going to stick with them, I think. But like last week, they got absolutely belted by fucking Brisbane. Like, they got smashed. And I know they were coming off a bye and it wasn't their home game, but they lost by 81 points to Brisbane. That's horrible. That's a horrible loss. So it's hard to say who I'd bet. But Sydney couldn't score. They kicked 6-18 to Geelong 7-12 in the second draw of the season, I think. Yeah. So unbelievable, really. And I think we'll go Richmond on this one by 16 points. Anyway, the next game is Collingwood versus Western Bulldogs. So this is a Western Bulldogs home game at Marvel Stadium. Collingwood is not bad at Marvel Stadium, so there's not too much of a worry there. But it isn't now. It isn't Collingwood's home game. So, but let's see. Collingwood, top of the ladder. Bulldogs are 6 based on percentage, but they are also equal to St Kilda and Melbourne based on just points alone. So they just need a better percentage, or they need St Kilda or Melbourne to lose to go up one. And they're also only one game ahead of Adelaide Essendon. So Bulldogs definitely need a win. Like, they really do need one. So Bulldogs will be fighting very hard for it. But Bulldogs have won their last 2 because they did lose in the last 5 games. Bulldogs did lose the first 3. They lost to Gold Coast, Geelong, and then they lost to Port Adelaide. And these 2 of them were home games, and Gold Coast's wasn't. Then they beat North Melbourne, and then they beat Fremantle, which is it's hard to say if that was a really big deal or not, because Fremantle, it should be a big deal to beat Fremantle, but like right now, Fremantle aren't doing well again, so I don't know what to say about the Dockers. I guess they hurt their fans' hearts more than anything else. But yeah, Bulldogs are going great, but you just can't mess with Collingwood. Like, Collingwood just beat Bulldogs lost to Gold Coast in Gold Coast. Collingwood just beat that same Gold Coast in Gold Coast by 78 points. They completely smashed them. So yeah, I don't think anyone's getting in front of Collingwood's way for now. So I think the Bulldogs will lose this game. Collingwood will win this and will be 4 points clear on the ladder until Port Adelaide obviously win. Collingwood will win they'll win by 22 points, I think, Collingwood. So moving on to game 3, we have the Lions versus the Eagles. I bet Lions win. They'll win by 100 plus. That it could be another 200-point bouncing, but no matter what the margin is, the margin doesn't matter, because we do know it will be a percentage booster and Brisbane guaranteed win. What we do know is West Coast are going to be at the bottom again, so I think Brisbane will win this game hands down too easily. So the next game we have are the Giants versus the Hawks. So this is a rematch of early in the year where Hawthorn and GWS played in not Hawthorn's home grounds. It was during the Gather round, which is all in South Australia. GWS versus Hawthorn. GWS just pipped Melbourne. Melbourne, one of the best midfield dominance clearance teams, I guess you could say. But yeah, GWS, they did very well against Melbourne to hold them down. And I don't think Mitchell Sicily is returning just yet. So without Sicily, there's no way in hell that GWS are not winning this game. GWS won't smash them at the park. Hawthorn will put up a good fight, I would say. But I think GWS will win that game in order to get closer to the top 8. Because they get in there. They're still a bit away, but if they can win a couple more games, they will make the top 8, as long as everything else goes their way. So I think GWS will win that game by, 10 points. But St Kilda and Melbourne are both playing each other this week. Now, it is a St Kilda home match, so it is a bit hard to tell who you think would win. But it's an interesting one. It's a very difficult one to think, because St Kilda almost lost to West Coast, and Melbourne will be dying to get a win. And Melbourne, they'll be fixing up all their plans. So no matter how bad Melbourne are going, losing 4 out of 6 matches, I don't think Melbourne will make this 5 out of 7. I don't think Melbourne will do that, because Melbourne know they need to get a win to keep above everyone else. If Melbourne do not get a win, it's over for them in top 4. Like, unless everything else continues to go their way, which it so far has not. So Melbourne's luck is nowhere to be seen at the moment, and you just can't imagine it. So I think Melbourne will beat St Kilda, but not by very much, maybe 10 points, just like the other game. Moving on to the next game, we have Port Adelaide versus Gold Coast Suns. Port Adelaide's home match. Yeah, Gold Coast weren't doing too bad. They were what can I say? They really weren't doing too bad. They were going very well. They were taking a few quick wins out of some teams, like they beat Bulldogs. They beat Hawthorn. That's not too much, really, but, they did beat Hawthorn. They beat Adelaide Crows. They beat West Coast, but that's not saying much at all. They almost beat Melbourne. They beat Richmond. And that's really all they did. I mean, they beat Geelong early in the year, but, those don't count. So, they weren't doing too bad. And then, people were starting to praise them. And then they got pumped by Carlton. Then, literally right after, maybe after that one Hawthorn match, they got absolutely pumped by Collingwood last week by 78 points at their home ground. But yeah, they were pumped, and they completely were smacked. They were smacked around, toyed with. They had nothing to respond with. They just let Collingwood do what they wanted to do. So I don't think Gold Coast will definitely be looking to respond, especially considering there's been attacks on their coach now, Stuart Dew. I think they'll really want to respond. So, you know what? If there is a round that there could be an upset, if there was one game, it would be this one. I'm still not going to bet them. I'm still going to bet Port Adelaide winning this match, especially considering it's their home game. The next match we have is Geelong versus North. It's pretty simple. Geelong will win this one. North Melbourne will be pumped. They show fights during halves, like they did against Adelaide. They did a really good second half against Collingwood when they played Collingwood. They almost beat Sydney and then Essendon. They were actually pushing Essendon to the limit, and then they lost. So, North have shown what they can do, but they don't show it for long, and that's the issue. So I don't think Geelong will let North show anything, and I think Geelong will smash them maybe by 40 points. So that game's done. And then the next game is Essendon versus Adelaide. This is probably the biggest game, barring the Bulldogs versus Collingwood game. But yeah, so this is Essendon versus Adelaide. Adelaide will definitely be happy if they're winning against North Melbourne. They smashed them by 60-something. And I think, it depends on the way you look at it, but Essendon need a win. They were winning against Port Adelaide into the final 20 seconds, where after the siren, Dan Houston kicked the goal for Port Adelaide, and then they lost the game. So Essendon will be pissed. They'll be angry. I think they'll be fired up for a win. And it is their home game. It's not like a full home game. It's not the MCG, but it is Marvel Stadium. And Adelaide, though, travelled the best on the road. They lost to Gold Coast away. Though they did very, very, very well against Collingwood, they lost to Collingwood away. Essendon need a win to stay safe. Right. But I think Essendon will get away with this one. Maybe like 5 points. And obviously the final game would be Fremantle versus Carlton. Fremantle are very disappointing recently. They were winning 4 in a row, and now they're back to losing because they can't play properly, and all they do is pass backwards. They're just really bad. They beat Essendon, and then they lost to Bulldogs. They lost to GWS. They lost to Richmond. They beat Melbourne. They beat Geelong. They beat Sydney. They beat Hawthorn. They generally do win their home games, so I have full trust in Fremantle to beat Carlton by, I'd say, 20 points, because Carlton are having a really disappointing season. They almost made finals, and now look at them, they're 14th. They're not making finals unless things really go their way. So I think Fremantle will win by 20 points. And yeah, that's my predictions for round 17 of the AFL 2023 year. If you guys agree or disagree, you can leave down your comments down below. If you have your own predictions, write them down, and I'll see what your predictions are. But yeah, thanks guys for listening. If you like the video and you want to see more, subscribe. And yeah, it's me, Tempestio. See you guys.
10 subs for the win. Let's fucking go.